Brooke Shabbat Yam, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans, the West, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. This Shabbat lesson I'm going to tackle it for the love of money, brothers and sisters. For the love of money. Right? So, let's get into it, right? Let's take a look at the screen. We're going to take it from 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Right? 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Okay, brothers and sisters. 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil. For the love of money is the root of all evil, brothers and sisters. Let's break it down. It is often misused to teach that money is bad. Use this to finally understand what the text means and how to preach it, brothers and sisters, right? The love of money is the root of all evil. It's one of the most commonly quoted verses in the Bible. Leaving many asks, is money the root of all evil? And yet it can be a very confusing phrase without any context. None of us really act like money is a bad thing. None of us even act like the love of money is a bad thing. Most people work 40 plus hours a week just to make money. If that isn't love, what it is? What is it? But this phrase, which the Apostle Paul said to Timothy in a personal letter, carries a much deeper meaning than money is bad and you should not want it. The Apostle Paul was making a deeper point about how to live our lives for a vision and a purpose that is bigger than money, so that we know how to use that money well. Here we are going to unpack that Bible verse, its context, and it's been explained throughout the history of the body and a few ways to apply it in a teaching setting. Right? The money is the root of all evil. Bible verse in 1 Timothy 6 and 10. In question here is 1 Timothy 6 and 10, brothers and sisters. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. First, let's read through a few different translations of this Bible verse to get a sense of how the Apostle Paul is using it. Right? In the ESV, it states, "But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, to a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs." So stray away from the faith is what? Faith in the Mashiach Yahusha, faith in his word, and his father Yahuwah. You know what I mean? And one idiotic statement I've been hearing many times now. You know, those people, celebrities and, you know, politicians, all devil worshippers, idol worshippers, even the common man. When they get their money, what's the first thing they say? They have more money than God. Steer away from the faith as if the Most High Yahuwah, the Most High Yahusha need money to survive. It's you who need money. Didn't the scripture say, if I'm hungry, I will not come and ask you for nothing because the earth is mine? So why would you think the Most High God need money? You false gods who type yourself God. You're a false God. You're wicked and evil and vile. You understand? You gotta ask it today when people ask if they believe in God. You have to ask them what God these days. What God these days, brothers and sisters? You need to ask them that. What God you talking about? The God of Israel? The actual Eliyahu, the true Eliyahu, Yahuwah? The true Eliyahu, Yahuwah shall create the heavens and the earth? And all that therein is, visible and invisible? Okay, brothers and sisters, continue looking at your screen. We're going to look at another version translation. 1 Timothy 6 and 10. It's from the Geneva Bible, 1599. Right, I was going to stop at just verse 10, but let me go down a bit further, brothers and sisters, right? So you have that context, body of what 1 Timothy is talking about. So this is taken from 1 Timothy 6 and 10 to 12 from the Geneva Bible, different translation. Right, so you get the context of what it is speaking of. For the desire of money is the root of all evil. For the desire of money is the root of all evil. Desire mean, wanting, lusting, loving, desire. For desire of money is the root of all evil, which while some lusted, see there, some lusted after they erred from the faith. So what's the error from the faith? Like we talked about previously earlier, straying away from the Most High. Pierce themselves through with many sorrows. So because the love of desire of the money caused them to lust, and that lust and desire pierce themselves through with many sorrows. Hence the saying, the more money you make, the more problems come. This is exactly what the scripture is talking about. Many of you don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to handle the money. Say, do all manner of wickedness with the money, all manner of evil with the money. You know what I mean? But though a man of Eliyahu flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness, fight the good fight of faith, lay hold of eternal life, whereunto thou art also called, and hath professed a good profession before many witnesses. Right? So the desire of money causes you to lust, and then you fall in error from the faith, fall away from the faith, which is Yahusha, right? And through that falling away of faith in Yahusha, you pierce yourselves through with many sorrows. You understand? Many sorrows. I'll give you an example of that. In Jamaica, back in the day, post-slavery, Port Royal, it was one of the wealthiest city in the world at that time. You understand? Vast amount of wealth. To this very day, you go find treasures off the coast of Jamaica, Port Royal. And that place was also one of the most wickedest and vile place on earth in that time. Henry Morgan, all those guys was over there doing all manner of wickedness with the wealth. They stole and plundered and raped and enslaved the Hebrew people. Children of Israel in Israel. So wicked. You can go research that history. So wicked and vile. The Most High had to send a 7.7 magnitude earthquake and sink Port Royal. To this day, half of Jamaica is in underwater. Right? The lust and desire causes the err. And through with many sorrows follow because of that desire. Brothers and sisters? Alright. Okay, continue looking at the screen, brothers and sisters. We're going, this is footnotes from the Geneva Bible, 1599. Right, First Timothy 6 and 10. Sorrow and grief do as it were pierce through the mind of man, and are the harvest and true fruits of covetousness. Right, so through the lust and desire of money, sorrow come and grief, right, and pierce through the mind of the man, and are the harvest. So once that grief and sorrow pierces the mind of man, then the harvest begin. The seed is planted. You understand, brothers and sisters? Once the seed is planted, the harvest begin to come to fruition, and the true fruits produce, and it produce covetousness. B, 1 Timothy 6 and 11, a peculiar exhortation to diverse virtues wherewith it behooveth the pastors especially to be furnished. What that means, brothers and sisters. To whom the spirit of Eliyahu ruleth. So the meaning, brothers and sisters, of 1 Timothy 6 and 11 in the Geneva Bible of 1599 footnote would read as follows, right? A peculiar. So what's becoming a peculiar? Special treasure, right? So it will be a special treasure, right? Urge, exhortation in biblical meaning urge or encourage, right? Encourage and urge. And diverse virtues mean levels. Diverse mean levels difference, right? Different kind of goodness and excellence. Because you could do minor good or major good. You can when you talk about excellence, you talk about levels of excellence. Diverse mean levels different. Excellent, you got different type of excellence. You see, brothers and sisters. So that's the breakdown of 6 and 11 of 1 Timothy, right? A peculiar, special. So it'll be a special exhortation, a special treasure to goodness, wherewith it behooveth the pastor especially to be furnished. So the pastors are to be furnished with what? Special treasure, and have the ability to urge and encourage, and to nurture levels of excellence and goodness, brothers and sisters. Hey, brothers and sisters, take another, keep looking at your screen. We're going to go to 1 Timothy 6 and 13 on the footnote of Geneva Bible of 1599. Right, it's on the screen. And most earnest request and charge to observe and keep all the premises faithfully, with our eyes set upon the coming of Yahushua Mashiach, whose glory we have set against the vain glistering of this world, and his power against all the terrors of the wicked. So the goal, the breakdown of this footnote is what? What's the root of it? Focus on Yahushua and his second coming, and prepare our hearts and minds against the terrors of this wicked by arming ourselves with the word and the armor of Yah, which is the word, and the keeping of his commandments as our sword and shield. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's our premises, faithfully in Yahushua. Set our eyes upon Yahushua Mashiach and his coming, whose glory we have to set against the vain glittering of this world. And so, brothers and sisters, what is the message? The message, but if it's only money these leaders are after, they'll self-destruct in no time. Lust for money brings trouble and nothing but trouble. Going down that path, some lose their footing in the faith completely and live to regret it bitterly ever after. You see, brothers and sisters, the context. What's the context of 6 and 10, 1 Timothy? Note that the Apostle Paul is talking about a style of life that makes money its God. Hence, they have more money than God. Paul is writing against a way of life that puts money above people, relationship, Eliyahu, virtue, and charity. Second, note that Paul is not writing against accumulating wealth. You understand? Because, don't get me wrong, brothers and sisters, our patriarch, our forefather was wealthy. Abraham was a wealthy man. Jacob was wealthy. Isaac was wealthy. Job was wealthy. Job. King David, Solomon, and I could go on and on. These are wealthy people. Filthy rich. So Paul is not against accumulating wealth. He is writing he's writing a young pastor to help him, writing to a young pastor to help him, with care for the souls of the body he is planting. In summary, he is saying, he's saying people who live like this often suffer these kinds of ends. People who worship money often go down dark path. I could see that in the modern time today. That's a more common sense truth than loving money is evil. And it is much closer to spirit to what the Apostle Paul was saying. You can see that dark path, a lot of these celebrities go down. You know what I mean? Compromise their moral and masculinity, dressing or wearing dresses. You know what I mean? Indulge in all manner of sexual immorality on both male and female side. You understand? All manner of wicked, lewd acts, brothers and sisters. You see, all because of what? The love of money. Third, Paul wasn't writing a textbook on business. He was, again, helping a young pastor to help his people focus on Eliyahu. If Paul was writing a business book, he might have said, if your goal is to make a profit, here's how you do it. Paul himself was a businessman. He owned a tent making business. You could read it in Acts, Mazim 18 and 3. Paul was a tent maker so that he didn't have to take money from the body. If tent making enables Paul to do ministry without taking money from the bodies, then this means he turned a profit. More than that, it means he desired to turn a profit. Therefore, Paul was not writing against money. Paul wasn't mean you don't desire to build wealth. Let me go over this again. Therefore, Paul wasn't writing against money. Paul was not meant you can't desire to build wealth. He was saying that the desire for money is a dangerous desire. In the grand scheme of things, we can't take any of it with us when we die. As he says a few verses earlier, we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. 1 Timothy 6 and 7. This verse has been used throughout the body history to comment on the spiritual power that the desire for money can gain over our souls. Here we will look at examples from three Johns, right? John Chrysostom 4th century, John Calvin 16th century, and John Wesley 18th century. So let's start with John Chrysostom, right? But they that will be rich, not those that are rich, but those who wish to be. For a man, many have money and make a good use of it, not overvaluing it, but bestowing it upon the poor. Such therefore he does not blame, but be covetous. They that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. He has justly said, they drown men, since they cannot be raised from that depth in destruction and perdition, brothers and sisters. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's go to the second witness, John Calvin, brothers and sisters. John Calvin. They who wish to be rich, after having exhorted him to be content and to despise riches, he now explains how dangerous is the desire of having them, and especially in ministry of the body. of whom he expressly speak in this passage. Now the cause of the evils which the apostle here enumerated is not riches but an eager desire of them, even though the person should be poor. And here Paul shows not only what generally happens but what must always happen. For every man that has resolved to become rich gives himself up as a captive of the devil. To every man that has resolved to become rich gives himself up as a captive to the devil. For every man that has resolved to become rich gives himself up as a captive to the devil. Most true is that saying of the heathen poet, he who is desirous of becoming rich is also desirous of acquiring riches soon. Hence it follows that all who are violently desirous of acquiring wealth rush headlong. And that could be said, and that could be portrayed in the narrative of modern time with gangs and those people who involve themselves in deceptive tactic and to take money from the elders. In Jamaica we call them chopping the line. Right here here's extortion, you know what I mean, and all manner of manipulative schemes to get money, lead on to destruction, brothers and sisters. Right? Scammers, that's the word I'm looking for. Scammers, you see, brothers and sisters. Okay, let's go to the third John wisely, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. They that desire to be rich, to have more than these, for then they would be so far rich, and the very desire banishes content and exposes them to ruin. Fail plunge, a sad graduation into temptation, miserable food for the soul, and a snare or trap, dreadful covering, and into many foolish and hurtful desires, which are sown and fed by having more than we need. Then farewell all hope of content. What then, brothers and sisters, remains but destruction for the body and perdition for the soul? Right? How to deliver 1 Timothy 6 and 10. We can apply several of these things to the believers' lives. When preaching a sermon, consider these 3 points as you craft the application for this text. 1, money is a good means, but a bad God. What that means. Believers often feel guilty about making money, especially because of a misunderstanding of 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Take this opportunity to ease people of that guilt and change the understanding of this text from a prohibition against wealth to a warning about wealth. 2, we often lose what we think money will give us by pursuing it above all else. Many wealthy people reach the end of their lives and wish they had spent more time with their families, pursued more virtuous paths, and done more honorable things with their lives. On the other hand, many wealthy die leaving legacies of thousands of jobs, billions of dollars given to charity, and a world changed for the better. In your pursuit of money, follow John Wesley advice: make as much as you can and give as much as you can. Don't sacrifice family, friendship, or integrity at the throne of money. Use money as a tool to invest in the betterment of everyone within your reach. 3, give to the body is Eliyahu's way of keeping a check on our love of money. Eliyahu commands his people to give to the body This practice helps believers to maintain a financial margin in their lives so that they refrain from spending money on frivolous things, and so that their time and money can be as service to Eliyahu's work through his kingdom on earth. The body, the new Jerusalem. You understand? Ethnic Israel shall be the head of that. So in conclusion, brothers, as you continue to study 1 Timothy 6 and 10, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, keep in mind the nuance and beauty of the truth this sentence aims to convey. If you feel guilty about money because of this verse, liberate yourself from that guilt. If you guilt others about money, root of all evil, you are now free to stop. But most of all, in the Mashiach, we are free not to pursue money above all else, but to live for something bigger than ourselves, loving Eliyahu and neighbor. The freedom should bring us joy, not guilt, and that is fundamental point that Paul is making in 1 Timotheus. Timotheus 6 and 10. When he says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, brothers and sisters. So, in this life, brothers and sisters, you need money to survive. That's how the world is back in ancient time and now. But the problem is when you hoard all that money and you think you're better than everybody else around you, you become selfish, you become mean, you become arrogant, you become pompous. Nobody can tell you nothing. You start naming yourself God. You know what I mean? This God, that God. You're filthy. And like the scripture said, you bring nothing in. You come into this world naked. Look at the brothers. You come into this world without no clothes. Think about it. Which human you see birth out of the vaginal canal, the portal with clothes on? Tell me what baby you see born with clothes on. And brothers and sisters, you come to the world naked. You understand? And you will go back in this world naked. Yeah, some of you put on your nice clothes as if you're gonna, you know what I mean, you're gonna, when you put on your nice clothes, you put on your nice suit. When I die, I want you to wrap me up in linen cloth, bro. Wrap me up in linen cloth. The same way I come to this earth, I want to go back into the earth. Just like how the master was wrapping linen cloth. Wrap me in linen cloth when I die. All these lavish funerals, especially in Jamaica, that is when these wicked person die. You saw me, that is all this lavish funeral, as if the person don't care. He's dead. The person cannot see what you're doing. He's dead. We should start bring back humility and modesty and simplicity back in these things called burial. Because burial, funeral and burial is a special thing, a set apart thing to send off your loved ones a final time. It should be simple and nice. Simple and to the point, not this lavish thing. Because who cares? Who cares, brothers and sisters? The person not gonna say wow. The person that is dead not gonna say wow. They really look out for me. They gave me a nice car. See, he doesn't care. He can't care. He can't feel nothing no more. It's the living who indulge in that emotion, thinking that the bigger the funeral, you know what I mean, the better the dead person gonna feel. The dead person can't feel nothing. Brothers and sisters, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Things can be simple, but people make things difficult because of the wickedness of their heart. They further the things that not supposed to be furthered. You see, brothers and sisters. So on that note, Baruch Yahuwah, what is ever hope, Baruch Yahushua Mashiach, Shina, Vishina, blessed love and shalom.